Hey everyone, my name is Paula and welcome to Relatively Refined. I am so excited about today's video because it is a collaboration with Kim from My Feathered Nest. If you don't watch Kim or follow her on YouTube, you need to, at the end of this video, go right over and subscribe to her channel. I will have it linked in the description box of this video. She is fabulous. Kim lives in upstate of South Carolina in a beautiful old farmhouse that she and her husband are remodeling, and she has phenomenal taste, and nobody does florals better than Kim. So if you are not already subscribed to her channel, please go over and give her some love and subscribe to her channel. We decided to collaborate on doing a garden party tablescape video. Now, I have to say that it has rained for the last week and a half here in South Carolina. And so I don't know about in the upstate, but down here in the low country, it has been soggy. So I could not wait any longer to get this video started. So I had to bring the garden party inside. And what I decided to do is to do a red, white, and blue tablescape since it is so close to the 4th of July. But there's a little bit of a garden element too, and you will see that when we get into this video. So without further ado, let's get started on this garden party video. Well, since I couldn't have the party outside, I wanted to do something that felt fun and festive, and I thought I would start out by making a fun treat to have at the garden party. I've always wanted to make a pavlova, so I decided that since blueberries and raspberries are in season, I could make a red, white, and blue pavlova. What you need is what I'm showing you right here. You need your eggs to be at room temperature. You need vanilla, cream of tartar, and sugar. It's really very simple. You just start by separating the whites. You're only going to use the egg whites for this dessert. You can save the yolks to make lemon curd with, so I think that's probably what I'll do. It's really important that you do not get any of the yolk in with the white. The fat will prevent the egg whites from whipping up into that beautiful glossy stiff peak that you want it to have before you put it in the oven. So here you see I'm just separating the eggs. I do it using the shells. There are egg separators that you can get, but my grandmother and my mother always did it like that, so I do it like that as well. And then I'm going to just use my stand mixer to beat those egg whites until they are stiff peaks. And I've made meringues. I think my grandmother used to call them forgotten cookies because you would make the meringue mixture and you put it in the oven and then you turn your oven off and you left them overnight and you sort of forgot about them and then they were ready the next morning. I just happened to be thinking about that when I was making this. That squeak you just heard was Hazel's toy. So here you can see that the egg whites are starting to have some what we call soft peaks, which means that they will kind of stand up but flop over a little bit. So when they get to the soft peak stage, that's about 5 minutes worth of whipping at medium speed, I'm going to add my sugar. It's a cup of sugar, and I'm going to add it in 2 doses. So I'm going to use half a cup first and beat that for about 30 seconds and get that incorporated, and then add the second half cup and beat that again for another 30 seconds. You can use superfine sugar. I didn't happen to have any, so I just used regular granulated sugar and it worked just fine. Once the sugar is in, you're going to turn your mixer up to high and beat it until it turns glossy and the peaks are stiff. And you can see right here that it is looking much shinier than it was and that those peaks are quite stiff. You can see when I put my spatula in there that it doesn't even fall off the spatula. So that is perfect. That's what you're going for. Once you get it to that stage, you're going to add a teaspoon of vanilla, a half a teaspoon of cream of tartar. Oh, actually, I'm sorry. You're going to add your teaspoon of vanilla and then beat it some more. another minute or two to incorporate that vanilla. And once you've beaten it for another minute, then you're going to add a half a teaspoon of cream of tartar and a teaspoon of cornstarch. So here I am adding the cream of tartar, and then I'll add the cornstarch, and you're just going to fold those two ingredients into the whipped egg whites. So I'll use my rubber spatula and very gently just fold in the cream of tartar and the cornstarch. Once I've folded those two ingredients into the egg white mixture, I'm going to take the mixture and spoon it onto a parchment covered baking pan. And you know, I see that parchment paper is moving around. I did read that you can take a little tiny bit of the egg white mixture and stick it under the parchment paper to keep it from moving around. But I just kind of dumped all of that out onto the parchment paper and then held the paper with one hand while I formed the egg whites into kind of a round shell. And you're making kind of like a pie shell. So you want the edges to be raised up and you want there to be kind of a dip in the middle, and that's what we're going to fill. So right now, this meringue mixture, this egg white mixture, is going to be the shell of the pavlova. So here's a look at it, and you can see that I've made a nice little indentation in the center there. And now it is going to go into a 350-degree oven. I had my oven preheating, and the minute that you put the meringue shell into the oven, you're going to lower the temperature to 200 degrees and leave it in there for about 90 minutes. Now while that's cooking, let me show you my tablescape. Here, I kind of went around my house, as you can see, and I gathered up all of the things that I could find that looked kind of florally, garden party-ish, and red, white, and blue. So here's a closer look. I took a white tablecloth. This was Truey's grandmother's tablecloth. It's beautiful. It has that cut work on it, the Battenberg-style lace detailing on the edges and in the corners. Just lovely, and I love using this tablecloth. It's so special. Then these napkin rings were thrifted, and I'm going to tell you that everything on this tablescape, with the exception of that tablecloth, has been thrifted, and that was a handed down family treasure. So those red and white napkin rings were thrifted, and I decided to go with my blue willow plates, which I also thrifted, as the base. So I'm using this as kind of a charger, and you'll see that. And I paired that with these really pretty pinkish red floral plates. And they kind of had a garden party theme, I thought, or feel to them. And then I decided to use my red willow cups and saucers, although they are kind of a soft red. They're more of a pinky red. I love that color. So there you have the red, white, and blue. And then these are a recent thrift find. These little tiny teaspoons with the teapot on the end. Are they not precious? There were 6 of them for $1. And then I have my teapots. This was a wonderful gift from Deborah, who lives in England, and she's a viewer, and she sent me this beautiful blue and white teapot, and I adore it. And then I also have a white teapot that I thrifted. And here is my cake stand. This was a Goodwill find. It was brand new with the tags on it. It was from TJ Maxx. And I love how it looks like it has a little red and white or pink and white checked tablecloth over the top of it. So that is what we will put our pavlova on. And here is a look at the table before I get the pavlova finished. I just wanted to say again how excited we are to be collaborating with Kim. She is so much fun. I was a subscriber to her channel before I ever even thought about having a YouTube channel. And we've been texting back and forth about doing this collaboration, and we made plans to get together, since she's also a South Carolina girl, to go and do some thrifting in the upstate with her and her friend Lisa, who has a YouTube channel called Crepe Myrtle Row, and she is adorable as well. So if you have not subscribed to Lisa's channel, I would encourage you to go and subscribe to Crepe Myrtle Row as well as My Feathered Nest. They are just adorable, very sweet Southern ladies, and I'm so happy to have kind of met them through YouTube and to be able to get together and maybe do some thrifting and film it and share it with all of you. So here again is an overview of the table, and as I said, everything on the table with the exception of the tablecloth was thrifted, so you can for sure set a beautiful tablescape without spending a whole lot of money. And now it's about time to start making the filling for the pavlova, and I'm going to fill it with whipped cream, raspberries, and blueberries. So I'm going to make homemade whipped cream because honestly there is nothing like homemade whipped cream. So you want to start with very cold, right out of the fridge, heavy whipping cream. It called for a cup. I decided that I probably needed about a cup and a half to fill my pavlova shell, so there you see me adding a little bit more. And to that I'm going to add about 4 or 5 tablespoons of sugar. I'm going to get the beater going. I'm using the same whisk attachment that I used to whip the egg whites to whip the heavy cream, and then I'll add 4 or 5 tablespoons of just plain white sugar to it. And once that sugar is incorporated, I'm going to add another teaspoon of vanilla extract. It really does make a difference to use the homemade whipped cream. There is no comparison between that and Cool Whip. Although there's nothing wrong with using Cool Whip if you're in a hurry and you just want to, have a quick shortcut, that would be fine as well. So here you can see that I'm beating the whipped cream until it is also forming stiff peaks. Now you want to be careful to not overbeat it because you will end up with butter. So keep an eye on it, and it should be fluffy but hold its shape, just like you can see here in the bottom of my pan. And now the pavlova has completely cooled in the oven. So you turn the oven to 200, you let it cook for 90 minutes, you turn your oven off and leave it in the oven until it is completely cooled. And once it's completely cooled, you can take it out and fill it. So I have my pavlova on a plate, and I'm going to take the whipped cream and put it into the middle, fill the center where we made that indentation. I'm going to fill that indentation with homemade whipped cream. Once I've smoothed out my whipped cream, I'm now going to add the berries, and this is where you get the red, white, and blue. I'm going to put down a layer of blueberries. Oops, they're kind of escaped. That's when you're happy you have dogs in the house, because they came right over and cleaned those up, no problem. So I added the fresh blueberries to the top, and then I sprinkled on some raspberries. Raspberries are one of my favorite berries. I think they are my favorite berry. My dad's mom, whom we called Grandma Bunny, used to make phenomenal raspberry pie. We had raspberry bushes growing in our yard when I was a little girl, and we used to go out in the morning with our cereal bowls with Cheerios in them and just pick the fresh raspberries right off the bushes into the cereal bowl. And here you have the finished pavlova. Isn't that beautiful? The perfect patriotic red, white, and blue dessert. And it really was not that hard. I was a little nervous about making it, but honestly, it was actually very easy. I will have the recipe for it linked down below in the description box, along with Kim's video and her channel. I want to thank you for spending some time with me today. And now my sister Kathleen is going to share her garden party tablescape. So stay tuned for that. And also, I want to encourage you, like I said before, to go ahead and show Kim at My Feathered Nest some love and subscribe to her channel, as well as Lisa over at Crepe Myrtle Row. All right, everybody, here's Kathleen's tablescape.
So starting on Monday in Vermont, it's strawberry season. And so my garden-themed tablescape is focused on what's in season, and that's strawberries. So I dug deep into the closet and I found this vintage strawberry tablecloth. It's not perfect. It has plenty of stains, but I think with enough other decor on it, it will be just fine. I'm also using these ceramic plates that I've collected over the years, many of which have strawberries on them. So I thought they would be perfect on this tablescape. And you can see around the edges the strawberries and in the middle. And these are a local ceramicist who sells her work at the farmers markets here in town. I also love the red and the green of strawberries from fresh strawberry season. So I really wanted to use these Celadon green plates. They're not vintage, they were a gift, but I just love the color and I love the size. And I thought layered on those larger plates, they would work. I'm going to use these vintage cloth napkins that I've had for many years. I picked them up at the local thrift shop. And you can see they have 4 different patterns on them. So depending on how you fold them and what you put out front, you could have those little red berries or the purple grapes. This looks like a raspberry to me, although I think I'm going to use that since it is a berry themed tablescape. And there is the little purple. They're not really grapes. I'm not really sure what berry they are. But I did end up going I was going to put all different patterns visible because it's a table setting for 4, but I decided to go with the berries. I also picked these really shabby chic candlesticks up at the Goodwill yesterday. I think they were $1.29 each. They're metal, and I thought I'm going with sort of a strawberry French theme with this particular tablescape, so I thought they fit in nicely. I'll use my Nick and Nora glasses, and I've had these ceramic strawberry baskets for many years that I picked up at the Christmas tree shops, and I thought, oh, now's my chance to use them. And of course the twinkle lights, they add to everything. So here is the table, all set for 4. Although it's not a beautiful, bright, sunny day here, the table really does help to brighten the day with the beautiful green of the plates and the strawberry baskets, and of course the gorgeous red of the strawberries. I decided to use 3 of the baskets and fill them with fresh strawberries and mix the twinkle lights in there too for a little extra brightness on this day. I had some green candles that were a perfect match that I put in those 2 candlesticks that I picked up yesterday. They definitely are shabby chic and they add a sense of kind of French country to this tablescape. Each of the 4 place settings is pretty much identical, with the exception of the pottery plate underneath. And it features strawberries in a different way on each of the 4 plates. And then I did layer on the green plates as well as the napkins, all with the berry print facing upwards. And I have these wooden forks, and I thought, oh, those will be perfect for a garden tablescape. And you can see it's layered there. And there's a look at the whole plate with all the different ways strawberries are featured. And of course, this has a sort of French strawberry theme to it, and it wouldn't be complete without a fresh baguette and a lovely rosé wine to go with the strawberries. So this is my garden-themed tablescape. Thank you for watching.
Take care, everyone. Thanks for joining us today, and I hope everyone has a wonderful and safe 4th of July.